I never imagined I'd become the kind of woman people whisper about, the kind of woman who ruins something beautiful for a few reckless hours. But here I am. My name is Vanessa Rhodeses. I'm 30, and I destroyed the best thing I ever had with my own hands. Nathan came into my life 3 years ago. He wasn't flashy or loud, nothing like the guys I used to chase. He was steady, thoughtful. He worked in cybersecurity, was quiet at parties, and always paid attention. Not just with his ears, but with his entire presence. He saw me. Not the version I tried to present, but the mess underneath. From the start, I was honest. I'd had a wild past, casual hookups, wild nights, and more than a few blurry memories. I didn't sugarcoat it. Nathan just listened and said, "That's not who you are now." That was the moment I fell for him. That was the moment of him. We built something real. My parents adored him, especially my dad, who finally had someone to talk. Old engines and power tools with... Every Sunday, we have dinner at my parents' place. Nathan would sit through my dad's repetitive stories like he'd never heard them before. He belonged like he'd always been part of my life. When he proposed, it wasn't flashy. No viral moment, no choreographed photos, just him nervous, sincere, and holding a ring that sparkled only because of the hand it was meant for. We started planning vineyard venue house tours on Saturdays, registry scans on Sundays. It felt like everything was falling into place. Then came Stella. Stella was a remnant from my old life. Wild, impulsive, toxic in a way that made chaos feel like fun. She'd always mock Nathan, called him Captain Beige, said I was too young to settle. Sometimes I laughed her off. Other times her words stuck to my ribs like poison. I didn't notice. Until it spread when she called and proposed a final fling trip to Vegas with Jenna, a friend from work. I didn't think twice. It's just 3 girls blowing off steam before my name changed. Nathan didn't protest. Just kissed my forehead and said, "Have fun. Be safe." I should have known. Should have stayed. Vegas was chaos wrapped in glitter. 200 p.m., Stella was slinging tequila shots at the airport. Jenna rolled her eyes. I tried to balance somewhere between the two. The old me and the woman I claimed to be now. That night, we ended up at a sleek rooftop bar with skyline views and velvet boots, expensive drinks, designer suits. Everything screamed danger, dressed up as elegance. That's where we met them. The men. Marcus was the one who gravitated toward me. He was smooth, confident, said I had a look like I was trapped in someone else's life. I didn't correct him. Didn't. Mention Nathan. I liked how he made me feel. Wanted, mysterious, free. When I finally brought my fiancé, Marcus just grinned and said, "Engaged, isn't married." They invited us to their suite. Jenna was hesitant. Stella was already in the elevator. And me, I followed. The suite was excessive. Glass walls, champagne, soft music, like we'd stepped into someone else's movie. I drank too much, laughed too loud, let Marcus get too close. At one point, Jenna pulled me aside and said, "Let's go." I shook my head. "I'm fine." Her eyes said otherwise. The rest is hazy, but not hazy enough. I crossed the line I swore I never would. I woke up in a bed that wasn't mine, in a room that wasn't ours. Alone, hungover, hollow. I got dressed in silence and crept back to our hotel. Jenna didn't say a word, just looked at me like something inside her had snapped. Stella, she was radiant. Talked about her night like it was a fairy tale. She didn't ask about mine. I thought I could hide it, that Nathan would never know. But the moment I stepped through our front door, I saw in his eyes he already did. Sat me down calm and unreadable and said Jenna called. To explain, to spin the story into something less ugly, but Nathan already knew. "I need time," was all he said. He moved into the guest room, canceled the wedding, returned deposits. His parents, once warm and welcoming, shut me out. His mother, who once called me her future daughter, couldn't even meet my eyes, and then he left. No dramatic exit, no final confrontation, just a key on the counter and a silence that screamed. Louder than any goodbye. I spiraled, partied more, dated carelessly, told myself I was free. But guilt is a ghost with long claws. It followed me everywhere. My own family turned cold. My sister called me selfish. My father said I'd broken something. We couldn't fix the worst part. They were right. Months later, I ran into Nathan's mom at a hardware store. She looked thinner, older, worn. I told her everything. I didn't expect sympathy, just to be heard. She listened. When I finished, she just nodded and said, "We were going to help you to buy a house. $8,000, same as we gave his sister, but we gave it to a women's shelter instead because we can't invest in someone who can't be trusted." I left that store and cried in my car until my throat hurt. Eventually, I left town, took a new job in Houston, new apartment, new life, but guilt doesn't care about geography. 8 months later, I still lie awake some nights replaying it all, wondering how I threw away something real for something so empty, wondering if I was always meant to ruin good things. If people like me ever get redemption? I don't have that answer yet. Maybe I never will, but I know this. Trust once shattered doesn't come back just because you're sorry. And forgiveness. Real, honest forgiveness isn't something you can demand. It's something you have to live long enough to earn, if you ever